I mean, to me, I would be embarrassed if I was a woman, especially in Hollywood, so public to do it, and they have all the money. I mean, what else could it possibly be? Seriously. So this is what Tom Hanks said while he had never heard about the allegations of sexual assault against the disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. There were plenty of people in Hollywood who knew exactly what was going on. Well, basically, yes, the people that were covering for him, the people that worked with him, people who were on the set with him. This all comes in the wake of an interview with NPR. Hanks addressed the recent allegations against Weinstein. He said the Hollywood veteran said that he'd heard about the shenanigans, as he puts it, on the movie sets, but nothing as serious as the accusations of rape against Weinstein. You can be a jerk and an a-hole in a lot of ways, but you can't be a sexual predator. Hank told NPR, according to The Hollywood Reporter, predatory men think somehow this is how it works. Don't you understand? This is how it works. I'm your boss, and you will have to please me. He added, sure, there were people who knew exactly what was going on, and they need to ask themselves, did you aid in it? Did you abet in it? Did you warn people against it? Of course, Hank, 61, concluded, I think those days are close to over. I don't know if they'll ever be over. And there is his comments. Will it ever be over? There's always going to be those that are psychopaths. You're going to have those that feel like that they're entitled to everything, and no matter who they hurt, it doesn't matter. They're entitled. They have the sense of entitlement. You have all the money in the world, and what to do? And what do they say? What makes the world go round? Yeah, sex and money, and notice the sex part always goes around. Yeah. It's the allurement. And again, I go back to our values in the television set, values in our libraries, what we see as adults, as children. We do not treat women with the respect that they deserve. I saw this really touching video today of a elderly couple. And this guy was 93 years old. They've been married over 73 years. And he was holding the door open for his dear wife, who had a cane, to the car. And then he worked himself slowly to the driver's seat, and they drove off. He's holding the door for his wife. 93 years old. Loves his wife, and's been taking care of her for that long. That's love. That's real love. Treating a woman like a lady. Not groping her, not treating her like a piece of trash. To me, it's no wonder that a lot of this stuff goes on. You see it on the television, you see it in the movies, and seemingly people have been getting away with it for a long time. I think that's why women are standing up. I think a lot of them had enough. Now, is it possible that some might be a setup? Is it possible? I think anything's possible. But these things do happen. I spent time in Hollywood. I wasn't on the movie sets. I visited some of the Tinseltown tours that they give, but you're not on the movie set unless you're an extra or you're working for the movie company. But everybody knows that Hollywood is sexed up. If you live there, you can kind of see what the nightlife is, what the lifestyle is, and it's California. If you're a conservative, it's like an oxymoron. Seriously, living in Hollywood, it really is. I just shake my head, folks. It's the sign of the times, folks. And we really deserve some of the stuff we're getting. Where were the feminist groups all these years talking about the movies? Where is the anger? Where's the outrage of the abuse that takes place that's propagated to our children right now on Netflix and Hulu and all these online services that show that it's just acceptable? It's okay. A lot of people, they were not very happy about the 1960s sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but here we are. Here we are. It's worse than ever. The opioid addiction, the sex addiction, where everybody is just so sexed up and it's meaningless, doesn't mean anything. They can just do it with anybody. The term making love apparently doesn't mean anything. To me, there's a difference, and I don't even have to spell it out because you're an adult, you understand. To me, when you're a kid, maybe that's the other thing is okay. But when you get older, there's more meaning. But some guys apparently, and some women, let's not leave them out. Some women, they never grow up as well. But it's no wonder why the children end up the way they are. Why relationships are so dysfunctional. And when you get younger people and millennials that say that marriage doesn't mean anything. It's just a piece of paper. That's all it is. It's nothing. So there's no commitment whatsoever to that person that you're with. So it's meaningless. I'm a traditionalist again. I believe that those things should matter. You take a woman's hand in marriage, that should be a sacred bond between you and the lady. Now, I know in a perfect world, things don't always work out the way that you hope them to be. And things don't always fairy tale endings. But you should never, in my opinion, take that sacred oath unless you're serious about it. And that God only knows the intents of your heart. But it's a shame. But it just reminded me that people can fall in love and people can stay together. It's for people to be patient enough and work on themselves enough to where they can attract the person of their dreams to where they can stay married that long. And I believe that you can find somebody. But it just breaks my heart every single time, this allegation comes out, and it's somebody's behavior. And like Hank said, is that the people that worked with Weinstein or work with politicians or whoever it is, it's not just politicians, it's not movie moguls only. It is tens of millions of people in this country that they act like this. This is their modus operandi. This is how they conduct themselves. They don't know any different. But I hope that something positive comes out of all of this, but I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I really do. But I do think in the workplace especially, there needs to be a whole lot more of accountability. And it's kind of like this in the church with the clergy, on a lot of good churches, when a pastor would meet with a female, there's a female that sits in and making sure that nothing questionable happens so nobody can say that the pastor did something. And maybe that's the way it should be. We get somebody that, is trustworthy and sits in on all of these things so nobody gets away with anything, can allege anything. In this day of cameras now in the workplace, have cameras set up in the movie sets. Don't let the stuff go on. So that way, if somebody, there's our meeting. There was it on tape. Well, there's the movie set. Everything was filmed. There was no groping. There was no offbeat conversation. There. To me, you're going to have to cover yourself from now on, or there's going to be repeated lawsuits. And there are always going to be people that are going to exploit it and make it unfortunate for women that really had it done. I pray that any woman or guy, don't leave guys out. Maybe they're sexually abused by women. They might like it. But there is abuse. It does happen. School teachers abusing, younger students and all that, and they didn't ask for it. Anyhow, it just needs to be a climate to where there is more accountability because there's not a lot of honesty anymore. It's such a lonely word, like Billy Joel said. But, ladies and gentlemen, people are human beings and susceptible to things that, like this, that all of us could fall prey to. It's just a question that all of us have to ask. And some of you would never put yourself in a questionable position like this. But there are people that do it, and they push their weight around. And unfortunately, people are too scared to say anything because, one, they'll lose their job. Two, they'll be told she's lying. And so they lose credibility, and then they get blacklisted. So that's something that's happened. I have noticed that a lot of the women that have come, forward actually have some money in their bank accounts, so they're secure that way. But maybe that's one of the reasons why they didn't come forward before, because, they would have been broke. I don't know what it does to their star when it happens. I can only imagine it would probably be embarrassing to be able to come forward, but they're doing it to be courageous, so other women step forward. And I guarantee you, if there's more to this thing with the president, there's more people that are going to come forward and say that they had a similar experience. And something just tells me that something's going to come out really, really soon here. White privilege. You've heard the expression, right? Well, there's a math educator, professor at the University of Illinois that says that the ability to solve geometry and algebra problems and teaching such subjects, this is her own words, perpetuates so-called white privilege. Rachel Gutierrez laid out her views. These are her views on the subject in an article for a newly published magazine for math educators titled Building Support for Scholarly Practices in Mathematic Methods. She also says that addressing equally in mathematics education will come when teachers can understand and negotiate the politics outside the classroom. On many levels, mathematics itself operates as whiteness. Who gets credit for doing and developing mathematics, who is capable in mathematics, who is seen as part of the mathematical community and generally viewed as white, she writes. Further, she says, mathematics operates with unearned privilege in society, just like whiteness. Unearned. Ladies and gentlemen, are you kidding me? So if you know algebra, if you're good at mathematics, it's white privilege. What the hell is this woman smoking? This is more of the liberal lunacy and giving in to the craziness that's going on across our country. This is unbelievable. She goes on to say, math skills can perpetuate discrimination against minorities, especially if they do worse than their white counterparts. If one is not viewed as mathematical, there will always be a sense of inferiority that can be summoned because the average person won't necessarily question the role of mathematics in society, she writes. Oh, my God, dear Lord. There are plenty of whites that I know, and I'm one of them. I am not a mathematician. So leave me out of the white privilege because I'm not white privilege. And I know plenty of whites that are entrepreneurs, and they're not great at algebra, equations, and such like that. So we're white privileged? I don't think so. It's this color game that's being played again against minorities. The poor minorities. The poor minorities. It's amazing when you see how far behind we are in this country. So should we just lower the standards of tests because minorities can't pass the test? In this hypothesis, this woman who's a professor, she's pretty much saying that we have to dumb it